Who's starting?
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Fridays with Sue and Steph. We missed you the last two Fridays, and we're glad to be back. We're back in the same city. So today's topic is the things that our kids do to push our buttons. And I didn't really have to think long and hard. Like sometimes it's like a lot of effort to try to come up with what am I going to add to this conversation? But I could pretty much say, I think everyone in my family would agree. I'm going to start with the really light one. I think I have three. So I don't know how many you have, Steph. Three? Perfect. So my really light, benign one that is something that I think every parent feels is, I have 5 kids and a son-in-law, and when they come home, the shoes drive me crazy. Like they're everywhere. I mean, if everybody has 2 pair of shoes and there's 8 of us, that's just 8 times. So 2 pair of shoes is 16 times 2 is 32 units around the house. And it's not like I'm great at it. Like I leave my shoes everywhere, but some volume of it. So over the years, I tell the kids, just be kind to me because it pushes my buttons. It drives me nuts. And so now I would say that they are mindful of it. Like I've identified a few places that they can leave their shoes that are trip over.
Okay.
But now I have a in-law. He's not in the program yet, but we're going to get there. Perfect in all other ways, but there are shoes around. So that's my very benign one. That I'm going to ratchet it up.
Yep. So same thing. So mine is just the what's for dinner question. Pushes my buttons, and they know it, and nobody seems to be able to change it. Sometimes it's how it's asked. Like, so the one that really pushes my buttons is there a dinner plan? I've had kids since 1997. There always has been a dinner plan. Like the odds of there not being a dinner plan, pretty much zero. Like even if the plan is Daddy and I are out, you guys are on your own, or why don't you can use our credit card, you guys can go out. Like there is always a plan. So there's something about how it's worded that as Todd says, I get to DEFCON 5 quickly.
All right. Well, so the next two are equally vulnerable for me to share. But so this one there's a lot of them. Mm-hmm. And over the years, like I have occasionally, or more often than occasionally, found myself in the kitchen alone while they're going on in the other room. And so that I get first, I think I feel bad that no one notices that I'm still working and that they're playing a game. But it goes from like feeling bad for myself to rage very quickly. And so I say to my kids, like, here's the plan. Here's the game plan. Everybody save an hour before whatever this afternoon at 4:00 because we're all going to cook together. Or I have a system that I'll tell you that actually works. But I used to say to someone, hey, can you come and help me? Or can everyone help after dinner before you start a game so that I could participate? So everybody's in it, right? Yeah. And so I lay all this out and I have buy-in to this whole thing, but it doesn't work in the end. So everyone's like, yeah, no problem. Tomorrow at 4, sure, I can totally help. And then little by little, it's like, well, do you mind if I help at 5 because I want to do yoga at 4? Or like, I hate when the kitchen's so crowded. Can I just do mine now? And the thing is, of course, the outcome is the same that getting done. But in my mind, there was this like family experience going on. And whether it's reasonable or not, I think I have literally laid out the groundwork for this to succeed. I've done everything there is to do to give people notice, to get buy-in, to do all of these things. Now, sometimes it works and it goes as planned, and I'm quite delighted. But most of the time, it doesn't. And then I go, what did you say, 0 to 100? Like,
yeah, I am 5.
Yeah. So, and that's because I set out with unrealistic expectations. I knew they were unrealistic, but I did everything in my power to control for all variables. And nevertheless, life got in the way, and it still didn't go as planned. And I think that's only a sample of what I mean when I plan for perfection and doesn't go that way. So it's totally on me because that's stupid. Of course, it's not going to go the way I wanted it to go. But I feel like I have mastered the art of controlling the situation only to find out it's just not true.
Okay.
So until I can get to the rational headspace of like, that was unrealistic, I'm so enraged.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the irritation is so high. Such a good segue into my next one. So when I get asked the same question repeatedly, and so it's not the what's for dinner, which, okay, that is the same question repeatedly, but it's the same question because you weren't listening. And I knew at the time you weren't listening to me because I'm like, sometimes I'm smart enough. It's kind of like what you just said. Like, I'm like, okay, I can tell he is so not taking in what I'm saying, or she said, right? And I'm like, hey, did you hear what I said? We are this and this and this. But that's only if I realize it. But then like one of them will come at me with so what are we doing for like something? I'm like, so why did I take the time? Like, is my time not valuable? That like I purposely took the time to run. It's like exactly what you just said. It's that same, it's kind of like, it's the Maya Angelou line, like where you don't remember what they said or what they did, but you remember how it makes you feel. When you were describing that feeling of like, okay, I tried to control for it, or I tried to know what was going to set me off. So I'm going to preempt this and I'm going to, go run through it with each of them. But it's like, yeah, it just pushes my buttons in such a way. It makes me crazy. Now, the other side of that is I will get them saying to me, if any of them were listening, which I'm sure they're not, they would say, well, like half the time you don't tell me anything, or you tell her 3 times and you didn't tell me at all, which I used to accuse my mother of. I'm sure I do that, right? You can't remember. I have 3. I can't remember who I told what. 5. Can you remember who you told what? Wait, you're muted.
I did that because the washing machine was making too much noise. So I have done that where I thought, if I just had a chalkboard, and so I didn't have to because it's true. Like there were times where I thought I told everyone, but it wasn't everyone. Okay, Brianna totally agrees with you, Steph. It's the worst. They keep asking the same question, even when you have written it out in detail where they can see it. Okay, so I'm going to tell this hack, which I maybe told somewhere else in our Facebook space, but in my life, when I make a chore chart, sounds so stupid, but when everyone's here and it's overwhelming, I assign help serve, clear, put the food away, load the washer, all those things. And so I've always known in my mind that when I have it written out, that it works better. But Brianna, I'm going to tell you the real secret that I found out in a true test study this past Rosh Hashanah was that handwriting doesn't work as well as printed. And also this year, for some reason, the printer only printed 3 of the 4 meals. And so when I told everybody to look at the chart and just move yourself up 1, it didn't work. Because there was a system to make sure it was fair. So all you had to do was move it up 1. Now, the other 3 meals were golden. So honestly, typing it as if it's not me nagging them,
yes,
and having it printed, yes, was like miraculous. And then the irony to be able to see what happens when it's not printed was, there is my lab. There is my test. Yeah, So Brianna says Post-it notes on their bedroom doors every morning. That's what I wrote. I don't exactly know what you're saying. Maybe Steph.
Yeah.
What does she mean?
She's saying that she left them exactly what had, right? So it was just assigned to them, as if it appeared from the sky, right? Yeah. Oh my God, that's so weird. How did it get there? I don't even carry Post-it notes.
Yeah.
Wow, that's so weird.
All right, well, Brianna, you're on your way to success. Keep us posted how it goes. So here's my third one. My third one is that there's a lot of teasing in my house. And over the years, I wasn't the best at taking the teasing. And over the years, I grew a thicker skin. And I saw how when people laugh at the teasing, it's just more delightful for everybody than when you get hurt. So I've been for years able to laugh when I might be the target of the teasing, which when I say might be, is
you mean always
much an understatement. Anyway, so as the target of the teasing, it can lead us to lots and lots of laughter and fun, unless you throw one person in there who isn't my immediate family. So you throw in, I would say my son-in-law is fine most of the time, although he does feel badly for me sometimes, and then I don't like that because then it's like, should I be hurt, right? Like,
Right.
But if my in-laws are over, if a friend is over, throw anyone into that mix, I can't do it anymore. And it's so hard for me. And I've really, really impressed that upon my family, but it sometimes takes on a life of its own and they can't get out from under it. So don't tease me in front of other people. I can't do it. I can't do it.
It's like pulling the blanket off. Like, it's okay in our space, but now it's no longer our space because we've let other people into the space. So yeah, I get the nuance of that.
Yeah.
So, okay. So here's one. And I feel like you have talked about this before. I'm sure I've talked about it before, but why Todd gets all the credit. Like, it's the cereal pancakes. And it's like, I feel so bad that I feel that way. Because I feel like the kids are so lucky that he's so fun and that he is Disney and he is pancakes with chocolate chips on Saturdays, right? Like he is all of those things. The things I am, who wants to brag about that? Like, man, she really edited the heck out of that. She really, they don't, like on the call, like, oh my God, like the frantic call. Todd's not typically the frantic call. He's the, hey Dad, did you see the trade? Or hey Dad, like, do you think we could get tickets for, like, and also because those questions usually have a yes assigned to them. They're not gonna call me. I'm no. Like, I'm always no. Like, so I get it. It's just so irritating.
Well, I think it's gendered. I mean, we talked about this thing on a podcast recently where, I know we did because Dan thought I took him down. He was kind of insulted that I talked about our recent trip. Hi, Jerry. Good morning to you. So I was telling the story about at the end of our trip, one of the kids put in our WhatsApp group, great job, Dan. And this is the first trip that Dan planned the itinerary, and it was great. I did all the food. I planned all the food for 3 meals a day for a week. And
for how many people?
A lot of people. And so I just thought it was interesting that, like, there was a shout out to Dan about this trip. And it really had nothing to do with him, actually. It more had to do with the way the kids perceive what my job is and what his bonus was.
Yeah.
Like, the expectation is that moms do these nurturing things. And when dads do something, and I'm guilty of it also, like, I have seen a dad with a baby and felt a little teary at that beautiful picture. And I've seen mom with her baby and thought that it was cute, but it didn't move me to tears. Yeah. And I just think I hate it. It's so gendered.
I know. Right. I think what you're saying is really fair because maybe it's pushing my buttons about other things I feel passionate about and feel like are really unfair. And so it's bringing that, into my home when I feel so strongly about that in the world. So maybe it's like, it's bristly for a lot of other reasons.
Well, I think that there's probably some Paleolithic, story around why women as the nurturers and men as the hunters created a species where we when someone crosses over, mostly men nurturing, that it's much more, oh God, what a guy.
Yeah.
But anyway, anybody have anything to add? Do you have any more than that, Steph? Or are we done?
Maybe it's funny.
What?
I had written down a few, I'm looking at my list, and it's funny when you kicked us off and you said, what pushed our buttons about our kids. But one, I was actually thinking just in general, I wasn't even thinking about kids. And my third one isn't related to kids. It's just like a general one. And how I wrote it, and I'm not sure if it's the right words, is like a lack of honesty. So it's not dishonesty. It's like when someone is like, I had a few things happen last week that I was like, just say it. like just say it for what it is, and it's that maybe what people would call transparency today, but transparency I always think of like corporate and work and stuff. I would say more between friends, where I'm like, I don't think that's the whole story. And and maybe it's funny, we were at Temple, not at, but watching services yesterday, and there was a speaker about just bringing about bravery, but how she defined it was about like authenticity and bringing like your real self to things. And I was thinking, you know what, it's funny because I just had these thoughts in my head about like, well, just say what it is. And that's like, it's the not showing up fully, or like that vulnerability, but it what's there, like skates up next to just like not sharing the full story. I don't know how to say it.
Well, I mean, I feel like maybe people aren't doing it to be deceptive. It's that they haven't come to terms with, like, if you asked me 15 years ago what pushed my buttons, I don't think I would have known how to say, like, when you tease me in front of other people. So it took like a really long time to figure out that was a distinction. So I think of it's that we aren't trying to be not fully transparent. It's just that it's where we are at the moment.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I think that's interesting.
All right, everybody, have a great week. I think we will be back next Friday. Is that true, Steph?
We will. We'll be back next week, and it'll be fall.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
I'll probably my eyes will be puffy because I'll start crying.
From the outdoors?
From the fact that summer's over.
Oh, I love fall. I love hiking in the fall. The leaves, it's so beautiful.
Yeah.
All right. Have a good week, everybody.
Bye, guys.